Hello Capricorn. Great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Capricorn. First of all, let's talk about the formatting. This is the way I'm going to try to do the readings from now on, mainly because energetically it's a little bit easier on me to do 12 of these, and also because it is less time consuming, of course, but also without showing the cards, I'm able to tap into the energies a little bit better, so I feel like it's a little bit easier for me. How the reading is going to be conducted is I've extracted 4 important messages that are going to be coming through or that are going to be relevant for you guys for this month. And I'm going to relay the messages, and then I'll unpack the messages by explaining to you in terms of, in terms of the tarot cards that represent these energies, what's happening for you guys, as well as what you can look forward to for this month. So, needless to say, my sincere apologies for not being. The first one is protection from home and protection from lineage. That's a really beautiful message, and it's a very comforting message. So that's coming through mainly because you do have some divine protection coming through for you guys for this month. The second message is no more frivolous acts. Okay, so this is kind of like coming in as a warning for you to straighten up, straighten out your life, and do things in a more directed and purposeful manner. So that's kind of like a warning sign. The third message that I have here is a pot of money. So I see something accumulating, things, money being thrown into a pot. And it says a pot of money. So it feels to me as if you are constrained as to how you can use this money, even though it might be yours. But it just seems to me like there are restrictions, there are stipulations as to how you can, put the money to use, or how you can, you have to have some type of a plan in order to use this money. So they say it's a pot of money. Possibly many people own this pot of money. So I feel like there's something going on here where financially it's there, it's yours, but you're restricted for whatever reason from spending it the way that you wish. The last message that I'm seeing here is they say the temple of power, okay? And I'm going to unpack these messages, but let me start with the first message so that you can understand how they're all related and why they are coming out in this specific manner. Protection from home, protection from lineage. So the first thing that I'm hearing here is I feel like many of you come from humble beginnings, humble backgrounds, okay? And it's actually very honorable to come from humble beginnings, humble backgrounds. And I feel many of you have many siblings. And I'm also sensing, you and your siblings got in a lot of trouble. And it's not just like regular things that kids do, because kids will always get in trouble. But I feel it's a little bit more than that. And I feel there were definitely situations where you might have lied to your parents, you might have lied to teachers, you might have lied to caretakers because you didn't want your siblings to get in trouble. So it's sort of like everybody is working together to cover for each other and things like that. So I feel like, through that process and the environment that you grew up in, it might not have been the most stable, even the most loving, okay? So I feel like there were definitely a lot of anxiety that you've had regarding caretakers. There was a lot of anxiety that I'm feeling here. And what I mean here is that you felt the need to protect, either protecting your siblings or protecting yourself from some type of the environment that you were in. And so what I'm also sensing as well is, especially if you've behaved in a way where you got in trouble a lot, I feel like you had a lot of divine protection to kind of help you get out of those situations. And I also feel for many of you, it was a series of, getting into trouble. and you had divine protection to kind of get you out of those sticky, dicey situations. And what I'm sensing here is a lot of the times we have divine protection because we need it, because we're prone to either making bad decisions, or we're prone to being careless, or we're prone to losing our sense of direction, or veering off track away from what our moral compass is telling us. So this is a month where you kind of need to realign yourself, and you kind of need to figure out, am I in danger of going astray? Am I in danger of overindulging? Am I in danger in any reason, like in any situation? Are there things that I need to be mindful about? Am I veering off track? Okay, so those are the main messages that is coming through to kind of guide you. And I'm also sensing as well, growing up, you might have had people that looked out for you, right? You might have had people that looked out for you. So they're saying here protection from home, protection from lineage. And once again, it might have been siblings. It might have been people that you were really close to, that you consider to be family. But at the same time, it's like constantly getting each other out of trouble or looking out for each other can, in some situations, be enabling. So you want to be very careful about identifying, the fine line between enabling somebody and protecting somebody. So I see that concept coming in. I'm seeing some of you at work doing this same thing with your coworkers. Helping to cover somebody who's making a mistake. You don't want them to get fired. You don't want them to get in trouble. So you cover for them. Okay? And then you're covering for them when things are too busy and they don't have time to eat their lunch, they're hungry or whatever, and you're covering for them. And that's fine. In the short run, that's fine. But in the long run, make sure that you're doing that for the right people. Mainly because if you're constantly covering for somebody, they don't learn. And when they make the big mistakes and you're not there to cover for them, what exactly is going to happen? So you want to be a little bit conscientious about that. I see some of you as well. They're saying letting others feed. So I feel like that message denotes a lot of self-control, a lot of restraint from your end, which is really, really admirable. And I'm feeling many of you as well, being caretaker, being in positions where it's almost like you have to make these difficult choices regarding, do I sacrifice this at the expense of this? So it's like you're making these really tough calls. And it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And you don't flinch. You're making these really difficult decisions. And I feel like it can really, for a different sign, it can really break them. But I feel like for you, you're so, in a way, unfeeling about it. Like you tried so hard to detach yourself emotionally from the decision-making process, that to you it's like, yes, it's a rock, between a rock and a hard place, but somebody's got to make this decision, or somebody's got to do it. So I see you having to be put in positions where you are doing these things that it can feel very, very defeating, like making these really, really tough decisions. And I see a lot of you having to do this in the work front, and I feel as well, these are the honorable qualities about you that will thrust you into the limelight, and that can really help you professionally. The second message that is coming through here, they're saying no more frivolous acts, okay? So straighten things out. Make sure you're where you're supposed to go. Make sure you are in alignment with your moral compass more than anything. So I see this compass, and then it says like morality on it. And it's kind of, when a compass needle it oscillates or it fluctuates. It's almost like you're close, but you're a little bit off track. So they're telling you, aim to be virtuous, aim to be righteous, aim to do the things that you know is right, aim to basically be guided and make decisions that are guided by your moral compass. So once again, the previous message about you having to make these really difficult calls, make sure that whatever you do, you are guided by your internal moral compass. The frivolous acts message, I honestly feel like it deals with overindulgence in sex and relationships. Okay? It deals with, are you truthful to the people that you love? Or are you being led astray by, physical desires for fun, excitement, and just, meaningless relationships? So that is a message that I really want to emphasize because it's coming out very strongly. It's coming out across 3 cards here in this spread. And so they're saying as well, frivolous acts and overindulging and doing things based on our baser desires rather than from spiritual enlightenment. So I do see a lot of drinking, spending, all night drinking and then making bad decisions. I do see people with a lot of relationship partners. So I would really, really urge you, be careful about protection. Be careful about shielding yourself from, negative energies. Be careful as well that you don't end up, drinking the night away and then waking up next to a stranger and not using protection. So, things like that. And I'm not going to go into that in further. So just please be careful for this month. It is still Mercury retrograde until the 15th. I believe it's the 15th. And it's a prime time for us to do things in a more reckless manner. And it's a prime time for us to make mistakes, okay? In order to even miscommunicate, misunderstand, and do things that we normally wouldn't do. So it's a good time for you to be extra careful if you are sleeping around, if you are, running around, having multiple relationships and with people that you don't know very well. So just please be careful about that. All right. So try to steer yourself on the right path, and whatever vows you make to your relationship partner, make sure you honor them. Make sure you honor them. Okay. The third message here deals with a pot of money. Okay. So it's basically a pot of money. And what I see here is I'm feeling for some of you, the work situation is going swimmingly well. It's going really, really well. Many of you are able to travel, are able to see the world, are able to save up quite a bit of money, are able to kind of, have the lifestyle that you want because of your financial situation. Things are going really well for you guys. Many of you are also business owners, and I feel like you might be an associate, or you might even have a business partner. And so the 2 of you, or the 3 of you, or the group of you, you're accumulating quite a bit of money, and you're busy. You're really, really busy. It's like money is coming in faster than you can spend, but on top of that, you're so busy that you're not really spending it. So it's growing, it's accumulating, and it's just sitting there. So you're in a very, very good space financially. And I honestly would suggest you're sitting on money, try to diversify, try to invest. And I also feel that you might want to go into real estate. You might want to go into property management. You might even think about, opening up a restaurant, opening up a venue, opening up something where I feel like there is a physical structure. So it could be like, property management. You're managing physical structure. opening up like a restaurant where it's physically like in a structure. So doing something like that where things are stabilized, and I feel like that's going to be the right way to do things, okay? Investing here and there, it's a little bit too volatile right now, so you might want to rethink it. And so I feel like you're sitting on some money, and make it, like put it to good use. Make it work for you, make it grow for you. And even if you're just like, oh, but I have so little, start investment with like 500 at a time. So you might not have, the 10,000 that you're hoping for a down payment, or even to start investing. Start investing it in some way, somehow. Start early, okay? What I'm also feeling as well is some of you might have financial linkages with another person. So it's like shared pot of money. So it's shared between you and other people, possibly with a partner, like a relationship partner, or a business partner. And I feel like, things cannot, like you can't make the decision unilaterally without their consent or without their input. So you're trying to decide what to do with the money. And I'm also sensing some of you, it's just like sitting there. It's not really being utilized to its full potential. And I also feel like you and your partner, you're interested in accumulating it, but it just sits there. So try to invest, try to expand your business, try to figure out what to do with it so that it's just not sitting there losing value over time, okay? I see that happening, and I feel like you're better off doing something right now. And it's funny because it is Mercury in retrograde, but I feel like, having these discussions so that you can start planning things out and start doing things, it's actually more favorable for you guys during this time. I'm also feeling as well, many of you have worked really, really hard for your financial situation to be really stable right now. So it wasn't just, handed to you on a silver platter. And I also feel because you've worked really, really hard, you're being quite conservative when it comes to your spending, being quite conservative when it comes to not taking risks with your money, which is also really good. But I feel like the market is supporting that right now, so you might want to do a little bit more research, okay? Do a little bit more research and feel a little bit safer to spend, because I feel like it's a good time for investment opportunities. It's a good time for you to actually go for it. So whatever you've been thinking about for the past 3 years, definitely go for it, and don't shortchange yourself anymore. Invest in yourself. So some of you possibly could be thinking about taking a really big course. Like I'm seeing a lot of realtors. I'm also seeing people who are interested in like the hospitality and the restaurant types of businesses, where you might have to take like a course, you might have to take a training course, you might have to take an initial, course to do something right, and you're just like, I don't know, it's a lot of money, like the enrollment fees are high, and you've been talking about it and mulling it over, but you're just like, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if I have the money right now. I feel that the money is there, and it actually is a really good time for you to start investing, okay? What I'm feeling as well, there is an air sign here in your work sector. So this is somebody that you're dealing with on a regular basis in the work front. Air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And I see a more, Aquarius is a masculine sign. But the way that I'm seeing this person is, I feel like it's more of a masculine person, someone who exhibits more, go-getter, assertive traits, okay? So we're not talking so much genders, we're talking about characteristics and traits. And this is somebody that is like a no BSer. If they catch you lying to them or shortchanging them or being deceitful or being evasive, they're going to get very aggressive, and they don't take no for an answer. It's somebody who's very, they're like a hawk, and they know how to dig for answers. They know exactly what they want. They go towards it, and they will, kind of slice through anything and anybody that is standing in their way. This is somebody that you actually admire, okay? You admire this person. And I honestly feel like you wish you could be like this person, but sometimes you get really annoyed by them because you feel like you feel like they're on this, moral high ground preaching to the choir, and you feel almost like it's hard for you to relate to them. And then I'm also sensing as well, this is somebody that is, they're very righteous. They do things because they adhere to that moral compass. And I do feel as well there is this love-hate relationship happening between you and this person, where a big part of you wants to adhere to your sense of morality, and you see that the other person has gotten where they are because they adhere to that. But I also see you comparing your life to their life, and you're just like, but I have more money, and they're still struggling. And so there's this comparison. There's also this sense of like this love-hate, but admiration. You really admire this person. And, they do things by the book, and they're not going to let anybody, money, power, or, people's opinion of them, steer them away from their moral compass. And I feel like that is very admirable. And at the end of the day, that's the person that you aspire to be. And this concept of morality is coming out so strongly for this month. I just feel like you're going to be confronted with many ethical dilemmas. And what you do can, unfortunately, what you do can really set you up for, an accumulation of karma, good or bad. So I would urge you to really listen to that inner voice and to follow your moral compass, okay? You guys do have Saturn in your sign right now, and it will stay there roughly 2.5 to 3 years. So you want to make sure that you are clean. You want to make sure you do things the right way. You want to make sure you really, really, really follow your intuition, and especially that moral compass. Okay, Saturn is a planet of karma. It is also a taskmaster. It teaches us things that we don't want to deal with. It forces us to confront some important life lessons. And so what you do for this month, and especially in a Mercury retrograde period, it just feels to me to be very karmic. Mercury in retrograde, when secrets come spilling out. So what you do for this month is actually very, very important. So listen to that inner voice. Do the right thing. And obviously, that's not going to apply to everybody. And just make sure you know where you stand. Make sure you know who you are. And make sure that you do things by the book. Okay? I guess we're moving on here to the last message, Temple of Power. Temple of Power. So I like this imagery, because what I'm seeing here is I see this island. It's kind of like a moat. It's surrounded by water. It's cut off, and there's a bridge leading to the moat, and there's a temple, a fortified structure. It looks like a temple that's built on top of it. And I see you patrolling, walking back and forth, patrolling the perimeter, and you're kind of looking out. And there's only one way in, right? Like there's only one bridge over the water to get to where you are, but you're like obsessively just patrolling the area, looking out, just making sure that you're counting all the money in your vaults. You're looking out to make sure that no one is coming in to steal things from under you. So what this denotes to me is it's a fear of competition. It's a fear of losing everything that you've worked really, really hard to get at. Okay? And many of you, you guys are really, really hard workers. You guys work tirelessly to go after what you want. And I also feel as well, there's this sense that you really, really push yourself. And coupled with the first message about humble beginnings as well, you've gotten where you are today, mainly because I feel for many of you, you've had to make a lot of sacrifices. You had to make a lot of tough decisions. Oftentimes, they might not have been in alignment with your moral values, but you had to do them because you had to build this temple of power. And it's not just about the money, it's about challenging yourself. It's not just about, I want to be successful and I want to be a millionaire or billionaire. No, it's more about challenging yourself. It's about, climbing that mountain. It's about putting yourself in difficult situations to know who you are and to know what you're capable of. So you're at this point right now where you are at the peak of your professional development. So people respect you, people hold you in reverence, and people really, really admire you, and they come to you for your expertise. So you're in a really, really good place where you have a lot of respect from other people. You're also obsessively just, patrolling the perimeter to make sure that everything is going the way that it should. And I also feel for many of you as well, it's tiring. It's tiring to have to stay up so many hours to patrol the perimeter, to obsessively, constantly be up and walking around, making the rounds. So it's really, really challenging. And I'm also feeling as well, for many of you, the career path that you're on right now, there was initially a reason why you got into it. You could love helping people, or you could love, the money associated with it. There was an initial reason why you got into the career track that you've gotten into, where you are right now. But because of the demands that it is making on you, you're kind of falling out of love with it. Okay, so this is kind of like the month where that reality check came in. And you're just like, why am I always patrolling the perimeters? Why am I always up? Why am I not able to, why am I just sitting on this pot of money and not being able to enjoy myself? Why am I pushing myself, constantly pushing myself so hard to achieve? And so the reality of it is starting to really dawn on you. Do you really still love your job? Or do you do it? Like, are you just going through the motions? Have you also invested so much into it, like so much sunk cost, time, energy, resources, that if you were to leave now, you can't really retrieve that sunk cost? And at the same time, what was that initial reason that you got into the career track that you're in right now? And is that reason still there? Do you still have that reason for you to make it, to like honestly tell yourself, it is still worth it, okay? I still want to do this. I'm sensing as well, some of you first got into this business or this career track, mainly because it allowed you to be flexible. It allowed you as well to, I want to say, I feel like you were in love with the work that you do, okay? And for some of you, I feel like it's of service to other people. And then for others, it allowed you the flexibility. And then those reasons they cease to exist. So I feel like they're not there anymore, mainly because the demands of it is too much and you're falling out of love with it. If that is the case, think about what else you can do. Think about new work. Think about, finding ways to re-inspire yourself, or finding ways to reinvent the work that you're doing, to streamline the work processes, or find somebody to manage certain aspects of it that you don't like to do. That is going to be really helpful. So I definitely feel here you are in a position of tremendous power. You don't have to do all the stuff that you don't want to do. You can you can allocate it to somebody else. You can hire more people to take over whatever it is that you don't want to do. You don't have to be a slave to this routine or this path that you feel you're already on and it's too hard to backtrack. Okay, so there is a better way to do things, and there is a way to kind of reinvent the work so that you're not constantly, so that it's not making such heavy demands on you, and you're no longer in love with the work. Okay, so really think about those things. Let me see if there's anything else that is coming through. Last minute messages here. So yes, there is one last message. What I have here is, this is the Two of Wands. So you have here the Three of Wands and also the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is basically a lot of interaction. It's falling in your 9th house. So this basically means a lot of interactions, a lot of projects that are being done with people, either foreigners, people overseas, or people that are very culturally, linguistically, very different from you, okay? So I feel like there is a lot of long distance communication, a lot of like time conversion, like they're in a different time zone, you're in a different time zone, and you have to coordinate. And I'm also feeling as well, they're saying, and it's funny because they're saying direct communication is not going to get you anywhere. So I feel like you need to learn to be, well, you don't need to learn to be diplomatic. You guys are very diplomatic. But I feel like it's going to work your nerves just a little bit, because the people that you're interacting with, they want a lot of context. They want a lot of like, they want a lot of, what is that, courting. They want a lot of courting. So they don't want to just finalize the deal, done, we're out of each other's hair. They want a lot of, there's like a lot of pretenses piled on top of it in order for you to meet them, to, you know, have a business discussion. You guys are going to have to go through the whole routine, sit down, have dinner, talk to each other about your family members, ask them about all of their children, all of their relatives, how they're doing. So I feel like there are a lot of pretenses or hoops that you need to jump through in order to finalize deals, okay? And they're saying here, it's really going to test your patience. So whoever is more patient is going to win out. Whoever is more patient is going to win out. And I feel like they got you the last time. So I don't know if it failed the last time, but now you're coming in with your years of experience and you're going to be able to do it just fine, okay? You guys are probably the most patient sign of the zodiac. But I also know that you don't like, you know, these pretenses, okay? You're not a fake sign. So I feel like finding that middle ground where you can accommodate and get what you want without losing your mind, that's going to be the challenge here. It is Mercury in retrograde. It's better to just let people talk and let them slip up rather than control the conversation. Okay? I hope the reading is helpful for you guys. Actually, relationship, yes. I wanted to talk a little bit about relationship. So, you know, that pot of money that I sensed earlier, I feel like some of you are in the middle of some type of a major relationship breakthrough where you're thinking, you and your partner are thinking about setting down roots, buying new property, joining up to buy property, or thinking about the next step, the next adventure, the next phase of your life, the next home. So I feel like you have some really, really important discussions with your relationship partner regarding that. You know, what are we going to do next? Where's our next trip? Where are we moving to? Where's our next house? And I feel like financially things are going really, really well. It's like I see a power couple dynamics with you and your relationship partner. So it looks really good. What I also have as well, I have the Five of Pentacles.